In this video, we'll be looking at what Pinterest can teach us about data, identity, and digital literacy. It's a growing online social platform that is used to save and share URLs. Many scholars note that Pinterest's membership is predominantly female. In the article, A Site for Fresh Eyes by Cindy Takoby, an argument is laid out for why Pinterest is shown as having a predominantly female consumer basis, and there's complications under these presumptions. The first reason she writes this is that 85% of household purchases are made by women, suggesting that Pinterest is used to track things that they like for their house. The major criticism Pinterest faces is that instead of being a social networking site that encourages valuable content creation, it is a site that encourages silly feminine daydreams. As Takoby comes to understand differing viewpoints of Pinterest, she concludes that Pinterest is assumed to exist to market to women who only consume material and not create new material or technology. Therefore, a gender gap has developed over Pinterest usage. Paul Sawyers in Social Media Week says women and men have intrinsic differences that attribute to their online usage. I wanted to test Pinterest's marketing and see what content I would receive if I created 3 profiles. The first profile I made was a blank account where I selected my interests as I would as a 22-year-old female. I didn't pin anything to any boards, but I wanted to see what content I would get if I had a skeleton of a profile. I used a data scraping tool and looked at 5 terms that I would continually look at throughout my experiment. I searched for the color red, sweater, family vacation, homeschool, and New Zealand to see what results I would get. Over the weekend, after I looked at the content Pinterest tried to give me, I went in and created 6 boards of this blank profile of things I do enjoy. I made a tropical and mountainous board because I would like to visit those places. I created a dream home board because I love looking at cool architecture. And then I added memes, life hacks, and cute animals because, well, I like all of those things. I found that I enjoyed looking through my homepage and suggested pins way more than I did with the blank profile. The Pinterest algorithm took my data that I inputted into those boards and used implicit ratings as contextual clues to generate items that were more of interest to me. I wanted to know if my basic demographic would change, if the pins presented to me would also change. I created a new account. I named myself a 65-year-old Shaw and kept everything very gender neutral. In the same process, I scrolled through my home profile to see the types of pins I would get, and then I used the same 5 terms to generate data in the scraping tool. My results were a mixed bag of surprises and disappointments. When searching the color red as a 22-year-old blank profile, most of my results were of hair products and colors focused on fashion aesthetics or shoes. The marketing places included Etsy, Fine Art America, Redbubble, and My Candy Pros. The main promoting company that came from my data search was only Dillard's. When I updated this profile to fit my actual interests in the main results, were focused on just products, and there were many different shades of red that appeared, like I was looking at a painting sample. When I finally looked at the 65-year-old contrived profile, I was surprised to see very similar things to my first 22-year-old profile. Red lipstick, sexy dresses, and hair products. I did get red macaroons that were new. I felt the term red gave back very feminine results, regardless of my attempt at creating a gender-neutral profile. If Pinterest is a way to engage in escapism and build fantasy worlds, I could see why a 65-year-old profile would receive similar results as a 22-year-old one would. When searching for sweater in all 3 profiles, I got very similar image results. The data, however, shows that the key terms to flag the sweaters were changed. In the 22-year-old profile, the main descriptors were products, outfit, and style, while my customized 22-year-old profile focused on outfit, casual, and knit. The 65-year-old profile focused on winter, fashion, and style. Again, I believe the term sweater is feminized in itself. I didn't receive any male sweaters in my 65-year-old profile. I did find that the focus on winter sweaters in the older cohort to be more interesting. It suggests that older people need a thicker sweater in general, while the sweaters in the 22-year-old profiles were mostly light and mostly for fashion. When looking at family vacation, the blank profile showed many travel books to various places from Greece to Ireland or Hawaii. It was just showing life hack articles to travel easier. Using my cultivated 22-year-old profile, it was a similar travel guide, but they're now focused on mountainous hiking areas such as Colorado, Canada, or Yellowstone, or they had beachy areas. And remember, I made 2 boards, one tropical and the other one named mountainous. When searching as a 65-year-old, the data showed all-inclusive resorts that were family-friendly. Disney actually became one of the top results. This shows that maybe Pinterest is targeting age cohorts when generic terms like this are used. For my 65-year-old profile, it seemed like a grandparent situation where they promote easy vacations that can include kids and grandkids, while the 22-year-old profiles generated cheap ways to travel. When I searched New Zealand, all 3 profiles came up with very similar results. Pinterest showed very pretty scenery and Discover New Zealand articles. When looking at the data, it also shows many similarities between the profiles, using terms such as travel, South Island, itinerary, and on Australia. I wasn't surprised that my results didn't distinguish between genders or age because of the term New Zealand. It's a very specific term and would garner small results. Finally, when I searched for homeschool with the blank profile and personalized 22-year-old profile, it came up with many homeschool schedules and routines to follow, as well as to teach homeschool links. When looking as the 65-year-old profile, I solely got how to teach homeschool and fun activities to do as a teacher. When looking at the data, it shows very similar terms were used in all 3 profiles, such as kids, activities, school, and resource. But because of the age, I believe Pinterest categorized what pins appeared to be the most appropriate. This search term turned out to be very gender neutral as well. A digital identity exists as soon as you create a profile on social media. For Pinterest, I found my digital identity can be as close to my real thoughts and ideas as I want it to be. For this reason, I believe Pinterest is a great platform to practice data literacy, as it does allow people to create their own digital identities. I have learned that implicit ratings, users' interactions with the pins, really do affect the results that appear and all that is generated by the algorithms from the data that is inputted by the user.